All right. People call me Nukes, and we're going to go over something really interesting. If you wonder where we've disappeared to the last few days, well, it's been interesting. So, let me just play this out for you. A few days ago, there was a strike in Belbek Air Base, which is here. Can't zoom in too far on that image because I don't have it properly attributed. So I don't want to make Airbus mad, but at that resolution, nobody's going to care. Anyway, there's a tower right in here. It's a weird portable tower. I can show you one up here that's not Airbus imagery. So stand by. So we're going to go up to, this is Yevpatoria. You've got a Spacecom site here from Roscosmos site. You have another one here. This one here is the one that has the, what is it, the YT-70 radio telescope, this big dish. We'll zoom back out and then find the right place. I had to turn a couple of my layers off, which makes it a little more difficult to find everything. But second. All right, here we are. We're back to the right spot. Anyway, portable weird towers. They've got big concrete blocks, like 2 cubic meters on each leg, making them semi-portable. It's going to be a big installation. You're still going to have to stack the tower, most likely, or erect it with a crane, as you typically do with a freestander. But it's interesting. I've never seen this before, and I actually work in this industry. Never seen a tower like that. I've never seen a portable tower. They probably exist. Most of the portable towers we see around here, I live in the state of Kansas in the United States. The only portable towers we tend to see are ones on trailers that are made for like rapid deployment, like they would call them a cell site on wheels or a cow. We see those pretty often. We see them on trailers or the back of trucks, and they have outriggers, and the truck tends to stay with them, or the trailers tends to stay with the tower. It's all built on it. The other thing we see as far as portable towers that are semi-permanent would be the long pole, monopole style towers that are guide that they put up for wind farm research. So before they put in a wind farm, they put these towers up that have all these sonic anemometers, regular anemometers, SODAR, radio acoustic sounders. They have all this fancy stuff they put out to determine the yearly wind direction cycle, all the stuff they need to do to determine whether it's feasible to build a wind farm in that area. So we see those quite a bit. But they're basically just staked into the ground with some big long stakes, and then once the tower is vertical, they kind of tilt them up and then stack them. Then there's really not a lot of force on the bottom of a guide tower, unlike a freestanding tower where all of this weight here, this is the only thing keeping it from tipping over or moving, is this downward force provided by that mass. So those have got to be heavy. 2 cubic meters of concrete. I don't know. I know cubic yards, like 4,000 pounds a cubic yard. So you're looking at about 10,000 pounds, which should be what, 5,000 kilograms per each. So you're looking at 20,000 kilograms. Oh, I'd have to do some math, but that seems in the vicinity. This tower type here is also portable, and it's got these big folding legs and apparently stakes and mass all the way around this. So why they put 2 side by side, I don't know. But we saw one of these smaller ones. Sorry, I've already moved on. But we saw this type of tower at Belbek Air Base. This type of tower we saw somewhere else. So let's go up here. All right, so this is the other Space Comm Center. This is going to be a laser ranging site. That's what these 2 turrets are here. That's part of what we suspect being the GLONASS system. So they use this to get the exact ephemeris on the satellites. And there's probably retroreflectors up there, and they do the laser range finding. It gives you very good coordinates. You can see these 2 are built very strongly, big concrete masses. You need that for stability. on something that's going to track an object in space moving, 17,000 miles an hour, 35,000 kilometers an hour. Anyway, squirrel. Again, we have one of these towers. I know the antenna looks like it points this way, but we found ground level imagery of this. We've got all kinds of stuff. I'll have to get that together in a proper presentation later, but I've had some people reach out and be like, where are you? So I figured I should update something. These towers were built about 2016 through 2018, depending on which site. And, that lines up with a lot of the military activities in the area. So these two sites are linked. The question is, from there, what happens? So this tower, the tall one, actually has two dishes on it. I know it looks like it points this way, but it actually points this way. That's a parallax thing with the satellite imagery. So I traced this out, and I looked all over here. I've looked for hours through Yev here. There are some other towers, but they don't look right. The one that looks right is suspiciously far, but still has line of sight, and it's a decent path because this other tower is up on this mountain. Would be this tower right here. Not the best image ever, but we've looked at some other imagery. Let me do this, copy. And we're going to go over here to Google Earth, and we're going to have a look here and see what we've got in the different year imagery. So, we can go back into the archive and change years this way so we can get a better idea what's going on with this site. So let's go back. All right, so no tower, 2012, 6 of 2012. All right, 2014. There, 2016, 9 of 2016. So construction started in there. But what's this? This is a pipeline. This is a natural gas pipeline that comes from the Russian side across the Kerch Strait and ends up somewhere kind of down by Sevastopol. It ends up over here. I hadn't traced it out all the way in Google, but it's traced out all the way in the other. I could export it, but can't be bothered right now. Anyway, so there's this site along a pipeline. Well, what do pipelines have? What do pipelines tend to always have? They have SCADA systems. Is that supervisory data access and control? Something like that. Basically, it's the telemetry system for the pipeline. It can open and close valves. It can tell you pressures, temperatures, voltages of backup batteries, if it's on generator, if the compressor's running on mains power. I mean, whatever you want to pump down it. It's a data link. Modern microwave systems tend to run in the, the gigabit range, but not necessarily needed, especially for some of these long hops, But I would guess this is probably in that order, considering when this was built. It may be a 100 megabit system, but it's enough data to transfer quite a bit of information. We haven't sourced the exact type of microwave relays yet. We're digging into that. Anyway, let's follow this again to the downwards direction of the image, down this way. It ends up down by Sevastopol. But let me pull out and just have a little squiz along here real quick. I have all the tower points marked, but that layer's got so many OPSEC issues I can't display it. I'll have to sort those out. Anyway, so this is what it does. Essentially, there's these stations, and each one of these equipment sections have got I think the pipeline comes out of the ground. I think they can put pigs, which are like clean out things. I'm not a pipeline expert, so if you are a pipeline expert, please get a hold of me because I've got questions, lots of them. But anyway, this SCADA system runs down the pipeline, and you've got these pads, and I don't know, they're every 20 kilometers or so along here, 10 to 20 kilometers. And if you zoom out, you can see this thing snakes all the way around. Disregard these up here right now. We're still working on that. But you can see this pipeline snakes across Crimea, jumps across the pond here, and it ends up way over here somewhere. Not that far. I get there. Wind's up over here. But the point is, I honestly don't even care that much about the Russian side. The point is, this data link path runs by like essentially everything. Let me turn on my secret squirrel layer, because I think as long as we're zoomed in and we don't show Ukrainian stuff, I don't really care about Russian OPSEC. They can pound sand, whatever. All right, so here we are. So we've got a tower site here, and again we're near Kerch. Just let me pull out and just have a look at what we've got. We got the large Kerch radar site. There's an AD berm there. There's an air defense site there. There's Pansirs all over here. A lot of military infrastructure. All right, so let's move down. Let's just keep moving down. What do we got here? Well, we've got Big Bird radar site here. Whether it's there or not, we don't know currently, but this would be a regimental HQ site. It could be over at Kerch now, but again, we have got, where's the data link towers? There's one there. There's one there. All right, let's keep going. Let's just see. Oh, look at this. A microwave path runs right over this airbase. That's cool. Let's keep going. See what else we can find. Pipeline squirrels along here. And mind you, I'm pretty zoomed in. Like, if we zoom out a little more, we'll see some more stuff. But, and there's all kinds of stuff. So, what do we got? We got a big comm site here. This is one of those 5 tower deals. HF site. What do we got here? Oh, we got an airbase. That word doesn't work in my brain, so roll with it. Hvardsky, that's the best I can do. And we've got Simferopol International Airport. Look at this. What else do we got here? We got an S-400 site there. Cool. What's this? Interesting. Look at that. What's that? So this gets really interesting. This whole thing just kind of was an accident, but it gets better. What do we got here? You got bases. I don't even have them all marked. Sevastopol is full of it. What do we got right here? Check this out. We have an underground something. Where's that first tower? Yeah, about a kilometer away, maybe less. And we'll zoom back out. What all do we have in Sevastopol? Everything. So, the question is this a super long microwave path from this Roscosmos site to here? I mean, the antenna points that way. Haven't found another tower, but, I could be wrong. Let's do this. 62 kilometers. I mean, that's a long hop. You're going to have some inversion layer issues over the ocean, but nothing insurmountable, I wouldn't think. Let's do this real quick. All right. Line of sight microwave. I'm going to have to change windows in a second, but stand by. All right, RF line of sight, SATA core. Let's see what this one looks like. All right. Okay. I really like something decent that did line of sight calculations here. I mean, I could load up Radio Mobile, but it's a pain. All right, let's just stick with SCADA core. And let's change radio 1. Actually, let me change the window so you can see me if I can remember how to do this. Yeah, so I got to do that. There we go. Now you can see. All right, RF line of sight. So I'm going to go to QGIS, copy the coordinates of the tower on the mountain, or the hill, whatever, the high tower. We're going to assume these are 50-meter towers. That's kind of the best we could do with what we had to work with. All right, so let's put this in here. And let's put this in here. Then let's go get the chords for the far end. You know, I could have done this before, but I like this open analysis style. I always have. I like to talk people through what I'm doing so they understand it. So that's what you're going to get. Yep. If you want to fast forward, there's a button for that. All right, so I got the other end at the Roscosmos site. And we'll go back to the browser here, put it in. All right, we're going to put this one in. Eventually, we'll get there. All right. What? Yep, that one's going all the way to Canada. That's not going to work so hot. Try that again. There we go. Now we should be in the right place. So let's let this thing crunch for a second, see what we get. Look at that. That's with the antennas on the ground. But you see that one's up 300 meters and that one's nearly sea level, 6 meters. So you can go a long way there. Let's put this one up 50. And then let's put this one up 50. Look at that. No problems. Now, I don't know, will this let you do this? Oh, it's not supported. Anyway, as you can see, there's nothing in the way. The question would be Fresnel zones and marine layer problems to where the microwave can't make it through the marine layer and kind of gets refracted back upwards. They probably accounted for that, and we'll just have to assume that this would work. So let's assume it does work for a minute. Let's assume this is the microwave path. Turn this back on. There we go. All right, back to QGIS here. It's not the one I want. I want the QGIS window. Why are you scooted over so far? There we go. All right. Meanwhile, give me a second. We'll be back. All right, here we go. So we're going to zoom back out. So what would this mean? Well, we saw the other one at Belbeck, that tower, which, let me see here. It's plotted on here. I just can't zoom in too far without attributing a bunch of stuff. And I don't want to do that right now. All right. That's about as far as I can go. But it's right here. The tower's right there, comms tower. It looks just like the one up at this Cosmos site, the small one. So it looks just like that tower right there, the small one. The question is, what are those doing? I don't see any antennas on them, even in the latest imagery. So maybe it hasn't happened yet. Or maybe it's just a small Omni or something. But you know, 62 kilometers across there. So let's just, for the heck of it, let's plug in just some rough coordinates for Belbeck to either one of these two towers. So we'll go there, copy that, back over here. So many windows. All right, so we're back to that. I've got to get back to that. All right, so I've got Belbeck in here, and let's just plug in for this one because we see the other tower at the far side. So we'll plug in the coordinates for Baalbek. So Baalbek will become the blue color. Again, look at that. No problem. So that other tower is about 30 meters. Look at that. At 30 meters, I mean, wow. You just don't see that many paths that are that good. 59.45 kilometers, which is a long way for a microwave path, but it's not that far. 30 miles is not uncommon around Kansas here for microwave paths, because we're flat. We're pretty much like the northern part of Crimea. I mean, we don't have the Crimean mountains, but that's not unheard of. Now, I know sometimes going across the land-sea boundary can cause problems. I've never personally dealt with that in the communications industry because I work in Kansas. But if somebody out there has the information about the marine layer issues with microwave paths, give me a holler. I mean, I can do some research. But so yeah, that's what we found. Let's go back and discuss its what this means. So I have to pull QGIS back up. Okay, so let's go back to QGIS. I'm going to zoom way out again. So what does that mean? Well, that means we can't prove any of it yet, but that means that there is a microwave path from one end of Crimea all the way into Russia. It likely is IP based and can provide a significant amount of data transfer, at least 100 megabits. It's possible that it's less, but I doubt it. I don't see why you would do that this day and age. I mean, it was 2016, 2018 when they put this in. Russia was still probably easily capable of buying these things from Western companies. So, these could be even faster. We could be seeing gigabit or more if there's a multiple path links, what do you call it? Space division multiplexing or frequency division, using different frequencies through the same radio to get more bandwidth. It is pretty handy when you control the frequency regulation body. You can do whatever you want. So the question is, what could they do with this system? Well, if Roscosmos is linked in from the other side, and why would they need it? Well, there was a lot of information about this, and there was even a reported strike earlier that Roscosmos was doing some kind of communications stuff for the military. And Roscosmos does this all the time. This is not new. They were actually heavily involved with the production of the Azart radio and the procurement of the parts and this and that and the other. They're heavily involved with Russian military communications. So it's possible that they installed this as like a backup in case somebody hits one of these sites. Don't know, because this is a big satellite ground link station. Both of these are. So that's the next question. Why did we have to link this in? Is Baalbek linked in? I don't know. Are these other bases linked in? Yet I don't know. But this would be an excellent, highly fault-tolerant communication system. There's a good chance that there's also fiber paths along here, or in other routes. I mean, there's obviously internet and cell phone service all over Crimea, so there is fiber. From what I can tell before, it came down these standard, the roads that everything came down and the rail lines that everything came down from up here. But then after 2014, more and more was brought across the strait. We're working on the fiber side. We don't know yet. Just what is this? This in the middle, let me just show you what this is. So once we looked at the pipeline, we decided to start looking at the electrical system and its SCADA, because why not? It could also be used for that. Now, mind you, this electrical system was in place well before Russia got involved with Ukraine here, but that doesn't mean they can't upgrade it or use the same towers. Now, the next interesting thing we found, and I'm not sure, but up here, right by the Crimean border, we found another tower that was installed recently, and it's a guide tower. Look at all that fuel. You know that fuel for? I mean, what is all that? I think they're fuel tanks. So is this like a TV broadcasting tower? Well, it's got a microwave dish on it. And where's it go? It's right here. Randomly in the north. To another one of these squares. Well, what are these? What do they do? Why do they need all this fuel? What is all that equipment? Good question. And we're going to find out. So stay tuned. The next question is, do these microwave paths, this one could even be hooked into the pipeline. We're still working on getting an image from the ground of this tower here. If it is, then that could show you pretty quickly. You can see tower right here. It's going to show us pretty quickly that this network's all linked. These two towers up here, we don't know what's going on yet, but there's a good chance pipeline communications are being used, pipeline communications towers are being used for military purposes. Again, I'm going to say that right now we can't say anything conclusive. I did a little bit of looking out here too to see how the data links used to work for or may still work for the offshore platforms, because there was some troubles on one of these the other day where the Ukrainian special forces blew up some antennas on top. So this is how we think the microwave path may work out to the oil platforms. There's two towers right in here. This one's relatively, I think that's the older one. And then this one's interesting because it appears to be solar powered. And it does have a microwave dish pointed that way. I drew both data link paths on here just to kind of get an idea, because we're still working on that. But in theory, if we have enough imagery and enough off-nadir imagery, oblique imagery at an angle, we could trace out this entire microwave system in Crimea. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of effort, but we can do it. I see no reason that we can't. And if we can figure out how the communication system works, that should be a huge deal. So that's where we're at. About all I got. I know that this is unscripted and scatterbrained as all get out. That's how I roll. So have a good one, and we'll keep you up to date. Thank you so much for subscribing and the support. It's been wonderful. We'll see you next time. Nukes out.